Hi and welcome to another episode of the Trans 101 series. Today we are going to be talking about legal transition. I've talked about many different types of transitioning and transitions within this series. I have talked about medical transition, I've talked about social transition, and I've talked about natural transition. Today we are focusing on the legal aspect of transitioning. And what I mean by that is really documents and papers, birth certificates, passports, IDs, gender marker changes, name changes, and all of that. So if you're looking for an answer into, oh, how do I change my name? How do I change my gender marker? This is not a question that I can answer. And I'm telling you this at the beginning of this video because every single state and every single province and every single country has a different way of doing it. Yes, there might be some similarities, but it's different everywhere. So the way that I was able to change my name and gender marker is not going to be the same as somebody who lives in Ohio that can change their gender marker or their name. But what I want to talk about is the importance of these documents and the kind of bureaucracy that trans people have to go through, and just so that some people who are not trans or maybe just allies or just questioning individuals, just to understand some of the things that we have to go through as part of our transition. So that's why I'm labeling this as your legal transition. So usually trans people pick a new name. They either have someone help name them, or they have a name that's very close to their birth name, or they've chosen a completely different name, random, that doesn't have to do with anything. So most trans people will want to change their name legally, and you want to change your name legally because you want your cards on your ID to match the name that you go by. This is important for a lot of people because when you go to the doctors and they look at your ID, a lot of people don't want the people looking at the name that is very feminine, or and I'm saying feminine in quotations because what are names? They're just words. They'll look down and they'll see a name that says, let's say, just say Jessica, and then you look up and the person looks like me. Like that would make a lot of people uncomfortable, that would make me uncomfortable. And that's why I changed my name, because I didn't want to go to the doctor and keep having to hear the name that I wasn't associating myself with. Now, you don't have to change your name legally if you don't want. Some people choose to never change their name, and that is completely fine. Some people choose to keep their birth name because they're very ambiguous and androgynous and gender neutral, and that's fine too. But for the people who want to change their name, like I have, it was very important for me to legally do it, and the moment that everything is sent in and you get everything back and it's approved that your name is now changed, it's such an empowering day, because it's almost like you feel like your life can start. And there are so many things that you can do now. You can now apply for a passport if you didn't have one. You can update your driver's license. You can update your Medicare card. You can update all of your cards, everything, your school ID and everything, so that it can match who you actually are. And this is the same thing for gender marker changes. Now, I know a lot of people that don't want to get their gender marker changed, and that is completely fine. This was such an important thing for me because I was so tired of getting mail that said Mrs. Chase Ross, and I was like, who are these? And it got so annoying, and I really wanted my passport and I really wanted my ID to match who I am. And one of the big reasons is because, one, I travel a lot, and I never wanted to deal with having to go with a passport that said female and I look like this. And I will say that I have gone and traveled with documents that have my old name and my old gender marker and I look like this, and it was very uncomfortable. I actually traveled from Canada to United States to Scotland under a passport, even though I look like this. It was fine, nothing had happened, but it was very uncomfortable for me. I did not want to show my passport to the individuals who were looking at the passports, and I also couldn't show my passport to anyone because they didn't know I was trans. It was just very hard for me to go through life like that because I do travel a lot and I do use those IDs a lot. So the significance of a legal transition for a lot of people. Remember, this is my trans experience, and I'm talking about a lot of experiences that I have seen in front of me, but I do not talk for the trans community. But for me, the moment that all of your papers are done, the symbolic aspect of legal transition is very empowering, because once you get your name and your gender marker changed, you're kind of done all of your legal documents. Usually you're able to change all of your other things. Now, yes, it is different in a lot of states. In some states, they make you change like your social security number, and then you can't change your driver's license or something weird like that. Here it was very simple. Simple, I'm doing that in quotations because you change your birth certificate and then you can change all of your other cards later on. Doesn't that just make sense? I'm saying it was a little more complicated for me because back when I changed my name, you needed to publish your name in the newspaper twice. Once a week for 2 weeks, and you had to pay for that, and you had to pay for a name change. And first you even had to submit a pre-application to tell them why you want to change your name. And trans wasn't, like being trans or changing your name wasn't a thing that you can click off. You had to explain in a big paragraph why you want to change your name and why it causes you distress. So you do that, then they send you the papers back, then you apply, you put your name in the newspaper and all of this stuff, and then you finally get it back, and then you get a certificate, and they say within the 30 days you will or may not get your new name change certificate, because they want to see if you're trying to escape the law. And so you have 30 days for people to like look you up to see if the name that you're going by and the name that you were going by before is like you're trying to escape the law. And it's very nerve-wracking because your name gets put in the newspaper, your old name, so it would say birth name is changing their name to Chase Ross, who lives on, and then my whole address, my phone number, my postal code, and everything. It's terrifying. Blessed that is not a thing that we need to do in Quebec anymore. Fantastic. The gender marker change was very hard too. And I'm telling you these stories just so that you can see some of the things that we have to go through. And it's just not fair, honestly, because we have to go through so much in life, and the legal transition aspect should be so easy. It should be like, oh, I'm trans, here, let me click this off on one piece of paper and everything gets changed. But instead, you have places like in Quebec where you need to have a hysterectomy in order to change your gender marker. Thank God that is no longer a thing. They changed it. I was able to get my gender marker changed with just top surgery. I have no idea how I was able to do that. I don't know anyone else who was able to get that done before they changed the law. But the fact that I even sent in my application and I had to get a doctor to sign a letter for me, and I had to get another doctor to write specific stuff, and I had to send an application, send money, and if it was denied, I would lose all of that money. It is very, very stressful. And I know that there are a lot of places in the United States where you actually have to appear in court in order to change your name and your gender marker. And I know that some places, I don't remember which country this is, I feel like it's Colombia, you have, or is it Colombia? I think so, where you have to sue your parents in order for you to be able to change your gender marker. I may be wrong on the country, so please don't quote me on that, but I feel like it was Colombia. And then there are other places, I actually feel like maybe it was Poland. I know, completely other sides of the world, I know, I'm sorry. I don't remember, yeah, let's just leave it at that. And then there are some places where you can change your name, but your birth name will always be on your birth certificate. They'll either put it on the back, or it's still gonna be there in parentheses. So it's almost like they make it hard, super, super hard for trans people to change their name and their gender marker. And it is a lot of gatekeeping because it does cost a lot of money to change your name and gender marker. In total, my entire legal transition cost me about $800, from changing my name to changing my gender marker to getting 2 passports to getting new cards, all of this stuff in the newspaper, getting somebody to, I needed to get like an oath. So I had to like sign an oath, and I had to pay the person money in order for them to verify that all my information was correct. Transition aspect while I was in university, and I would wait for calls from the government while I was in class, and when a call would come in, I would have to dash out of class and be hello, hello, where I even had a government official, I promise you this is not, I'm not lying, a person from the government of Quebec literally said to me, you need a penis to be a man. I was asking if I can change my gender marker with top surgery, and he tells me that I need to have a penis. Basically, I need to have bottom surgery in order to change my gender marker. This was so scarring for me, and I'm a person that can deal with a lot of things because a lot of things have happened to me and I'm okay, but I can only imagine how traumatic that could be for some people. Anyways, this is all to say, I just wanted to explain a little bit umbrella term of legal transition. There are different aspects to it, but I can't get into everything right now. If you want more information on how to change your name or how to change your gender marker wherever you are, I will try to put as many links as I can in the description below. And as always with these transition videos and the different types of transitions, you know, even if a person's name is not changed, respect their name. And even if their gender marker isn't changed, respect their pronouns. I feel like this is just like, it's like the basics of being a decent human being. Just respect other people. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you later. Have a great day. Bye.